Hi guys and Assalamualaikum. So today my name is Amirul Asraf.
My name is Syafiqah.
My name is Mustaffa with the Raiedzall.
My name is Harith bin Rahim.
So today we would like to discuss about abusive supervision.
So the main issue of the video is abusive supervision. So Harith, what makes you think that the main issue is abusive supervision?
Alright, from my observation of the video, I can see that the new guy, which is the intern boy, get bullied by his co-workers, including his boss. And at the end, the boss said that it is a normal thing for the new guy or the new staff to get bullied by the staff in their office.
So basically, from most of the scenes in the roleplay, we can see that the main issue here is abusive supervision. So we're going to try to discuss what are the things that can overcome this issue, especially this particular topic, which is abusive supervision. Amirul, do you have any suggestions on how to overcome this kind of problem?
In my opinion, the best way is to overcome this problem is build a network, which is communicate with your co-workers and your staff at there. Because maybe it's not only you having this situation, maybe the others also face the same situation as you. So talk with them and try to solve with the evidence. So the evidence will be strong if you guys have a strong evidence and to report to the HR.
So in my opinion, I think the best way or another best way for the intern to overcome the issue is to talk to the human resources department. Human resources department is a department in the company which specializes in dealing with these types of issues. And for the intern, as seen in the video, the intern talked to the boss after continuously being bullied by the two female co-workers.
Yes.
And they abuse their powers by giving unnecessary tasks to the interns. And when the intern talked to the boss about his problems, the boss nearly just dismissed the issue
Just ignore it.
as if it was nothing new or nothing wrong happening in the company, which is not something that should be normalized in any company. And I think the intern should have gone to the human resources department, so the department could perhaps take some action, such as make some type of event to improve the teamwork and the communication within the company, so everyone could work together as a team.
Alright, what about you, Shafiyyah?
I think I agree that with Ika's point is that the intern should refer to the HR if situations like this happen. But I think before the intern proceeds to see the HR, they should the intern should actually try to talk with the boss himself first. The intern should try to understand why the boss or why the co-workers are treating him badly. This is because the boss and the co-workers are actually also human, and we don't know what kind of problems they're facing, what their experiences are back home, and leading to why they are having such selfish and immature behavior. So when the intern actually tries to understand these people, I think it will slowly benefit himself, because the boss may try to open up more, be a bit more reasonable on him before actually just going to the HR, because maybe the HR won't actually settle these kind of problems, because this is more to understanding humans in general. So what do you think, Harith, about that?
I think I agree with both of your ideas or opinion about this situation, but I want to add one tips on how to prevent the abusive supervision. First thing, this is the tips that the new staff or any internship student who would like to continue their studies in practical, they should focus more on their tasks, because sometimes new staff try to impress their bosses or their co-workers in terms to get new friends or to get used in the new situation. And other than that, they have to ignore all the negative thought made by the co-workers, and I think if we ignore all the negative thought, we can just do our task peacefully and act professionally. What about you, Amirul? Something to add?
I think one of the other point is to add is communication, because communication is the key. If the intern guy talk to the boss and carefully and explain what is happening from A to Z, I think the boss will understand him, because in that video, the intern guy doesn't clearly talk about what is happening.
So you agree with my point when I said the intern should understand the bullies, maybe problems, or why they treat the intern wrongly, right?
Yes. For me, he should understand it. How about you, Syafiqah?
Another thing to add is I think Amirul's first point, which is creating a network, which relates to my point, which is report to human resources. I think if the intern ask around and see if there are other people who are experiencing the same problems and being overworked or being asked to do tasks that aren't in their work scope, I think if they together gathered and report to HR, then a much more better action could be taken against the co-workers or the boss. Because if there's only one person who reports it, then there's, you know how there's like the first penalty, second penalty, and third penalty, right? So I think if this has been going on for a long time and they together compile evidence, as Amirul said, they could together improve the environment of the company for the better, so other people won't experience this type of situation again. Shafiyyah, anything to add?
I'd like to add on that from Harith's point just now, even though it's a good point, I think it is not very necessary for an intern to completely focus on their work, because this shows that the intern is actually vulnerable and it's easy to be bullied because he or she does the work that is given by the boss. Instead, I think the intern should actually be brave and speak up for when things go wrong, especially when it comes to mistreatment inside a workplace. Because in a workplace, it's a place where communication is important, and so to just be quiet and do your own work isn't the best way to overcome the situation, especially when it comes to abusive supervision. But what do you think about my opinion? Harith?
Yes, I think it is a good point though. The new employee have to acknowledge the time when they get bullied by someone, right? They have to be brave and stand up for themselves, preventing from getting bullied by their bosses. Then from the Amirul opinion, it is kind of good opinion. Sometimes bullies happen when the person do not know how to communicate with others. That is why communication is vital. We have to teach the people around us how to communicate properly, because it can help us to reach others and might help us to escape from the bullies. From the video itself, I can see that the guy have the skill to communicate, but maybe it has become the norm in the office for the young or new staff to get bullied by the bosses, and the bosses have to clear their mindset about bullying new staff is a normal thing in the office.
To add on to Shafiyyah's point, I think it's true, I agree, and also it is important for interns who are fresh graduates to experience a working environment where it's comfortable, safe, and to introduce them properly to the working world. So they should not only focus on their job, but also how to interact and socialize with their co-workers, so that their working environment and experience is much better, and so that they could properly work in a new company in the future where they are truly working as part of the company.
I also agree with Syafiqah points, because For me, the intern guy should not just focus on his works, because social skill also important to us. Yeah, in the internship, because during the intern we just not only focus on our work. We have to learn how to communicate, with the people, and the social skill to gain. How about you, Shafiyyah?
Okay, so I agree with both of your points, and I think to conclude, what the way to overcome is communication, right? Because as Amirul said, communication is the key. So the intern should communicate with not only the boss but also the co-workers and also the HR. So there are many ways for the intern to communicate in help to overcome the situation of abusive supervision.
So I think we all agree that communication is vital, and communication can help us to escape from the bullies.
And
I
overcome
think
any difficulties.
one thing that can prevent us from getting abused by our boss is to communicate to the others, especially to the HR and those who are above our boss, right? So, in a nutshell, communication is the key to escape from getting bullied by the abusive supervision. Alright?
I think that's all from today. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.